Right.
50% of profits donated.
Yes, it's definitely working. All right, 50% of profits donated. I don't know who that was or what ad that was playing, but it's definitely working. We're definitely live. So, you know, it's weird, right? Like, I signed into my own, I always say this, but like, I signed into my own channel and it still insists on playing ads. Like, that's why I don't have a premium. Let's have a listen. Still insists on playing ads. Like, that's why I don't have a premium. Boom. There we go. And just as feedback, I forget who it was who said it. I'm not gonna. It might have been Ben or someone. I forget who it was, but they were right. They were absolutely right. When I did my last live, I did it. Obviously, I do my lives through StreamYard, so I have the camera there, I have the mic plugged in, and what I did last time was I used my laptop and I read through. I read through the comments without putting them on screen. I think it was Ben who said he liked seeing them on screen. It's making me a liar. No, it's working now. There you go. As soon as I clicked on it, I was like, nothing happened. There you go. They are back on screen. Hello to Railway Boxing Fan. And big up to Matt Borgeson every single time for the $5 US. Thank you so much, my friend. That is greatly appreciated. I'll give it a love and a like. Yep, boom. So I can do it on both now. Tyson Fury is going to lose to Makhmudov. He is shot to bits and it's going to show 100%. There's no way he will have anything left. I promise you. Matt, you're making a big statement with that one. I do myself believe that this is a risky fight for Tyson Fury. I do. And I said that in my, not announcement, but, when this fight was announced today, I said, look, and I've said this throughout the course of the whole kind of, what we say, build up or, rumored mill that this fight is happening. I've said that I feel that this fight, you got to give Fury props for it because he could have taken an easier comeback fight. And quite frankly, and I've been a big critic of Tyson Fury, as many of you will know, I get accused of being a hater all the time. In spite of the fact he's actually shared some clips of me with ANG Man on his Instagram page. And it's been me talking. It's not even been Ade, so I've been like, okay, so, all right. He doesn't think I'm that bad, but I have to give him credit for this because he could have taken an easier fight. He absolutely could have. He really, truly could have. So credit to him for that. Makhmudov, stylistically, I'd say he would be, I would say, tailor-made, but certainly complimentary to Fury. And big up to Lucas. We get a few people in. Hello, fellow Hatman enjoyer. And you know what, right? Hatman has he's doing a live as well. He's not live now. I hate going up against just anybody, really, to be honest with you. Even if I'm say it's a channel I know, like Base or someone like that, where look, my channel is bigger, right? But I still hate going live with him, if that makes sense, because I hate to like make people have a tug of war and stuff like that. On which one am I gonna watch or this. Different when you're doing a watch along. Because everyone tends to just kind of, lock in and go back and forth and stuff like that. Activist, intellect, what's happening, G-Man? Not much, mate, not much. And I meant to go back to Railroad and Boxing Fan 2000. How has your day been so far? It's been pretty good. I haven't any complaints. Nothing bad's happened. The day, I always say, like, look, a day can go, even a bad day, there's something to take positive from. I know I'm going to sound like a motivational speaker saying that, but there always is. Because even when something's going bad, you can be like, well, at least this didn't happen. And, I tend to, it's more so in the summer, really. But in the summer, if I do say have a bad day, I tend to in the evening time, about 8:30, just go for a walk. Just go for a walk and you'd be surprised how easy that is and how much that actually helps you, believe it or not. Not that I do that very often in the sense of I need to, but, some days can be rough. Fellow Hatman enjoyer. The real Hatman now. Oh, God, I had to think about that when you said the real Hatman. I was like, what's he mean? Oh, yeah, the hat. See, do you know what it is, right? I wear this one. I have others as well, but this is the comfiest. I wear them pretty much every day. I don't even think about them now. Like, it literally just, I was going to say goes over my head. It quite literally does. But yeah, man. Big up every single time. What is Ben Whittaker's ceiling, in your opinion, if he puts his head down and continues his upward trajectory? I still think that there's limitations to what he does. I think he's got a higher ceiling than someone like it. Well, saying that, God knows what he'll do this weekend, but Josh Kelly. Because I always felt like Josh Kelly had a very low ceiling, and I guess there's similarities between Kelly. Not, yeah, stylistically, I think Whitaker is more flash, but there is similarities there to Josh Kelly. But I think his ceiling is higher. I watched Josh Kelly win a world title this weekend. A big up to Matt. Also, what's up with people giving Teofimo Lopez no chance to beat Shakur? It's kind of wild. I have Teofimo beating Shakur. He can outbox him like Loma. See, me and Ade talked about that, and Ade is he's of a similar belief to me in that Shakur Stevenson wins this fight, but he gives Shakur much more of, or he gives Teofimo Lopez much more of a chance than I do. And I look and I say, well, he's boxed southpaws before, Teofimo Lopez. He has beaten them. However, when he's boxed southpaws like Josh Taylor and people like that, and Loma is a good example, they give him plenty of opportunities to land. They tend to work mid to close range, and he's able to just put him on the end of a jab, and that's it. Then that's all well and good. Teofimo Lopez or Shakur Stevenson's not going to do that. He's going to put him on the end of a jab, and we've seen it before when he's had to really go and look for an opponent. It's not always been his forte. But saying that, when he's fought movers like Jermaine Ortiz, and when he's fought movers like that other guy, what was his name, Sandor Martin, he's fought those guys, and basically I think he's underestimated them. But when he's in there with a real challenge, he always rises to the occasion. So there is that. Been a while, man, I know. And the problem is I just seen Hatman's gone live there, and I'm like, dang. I don't mind, but it's like, damn it, we're going up against one another. I don't like doing that. But look, it is what it is. We're going to go for about an hour anyway. I said I'd do it, and I've been trying to get time, because I am quite busy, to try and get a live in. I don't do enough of them, but this weekend we're going to make up for it, because I'll be doing a live watch along in the early hours of Sunday morning. Do you think Tommy Fury and Roman Fury will fight will fight? So what's that say? Do you think Tommy and Roman Fury will fight on the Fury Makhmudov? Well, I doubt it. I mean, they are cousins at the end of the day, so I doubt very much that they would. But you never know. I mean, I doubt it very much. And normally, when it comes to family, unless like there's a big rift in and even then you don't really want to see it. But unless like they're just, maybe if they didn't know they were cousins or something like that, you never see it. Big up to Matt. I think Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur is going to be an incredibly bore like Edwin De Los Santos. That's one thing I expect. Also, Shakur loses to Castro, unanimous decision. Well, I agree with you wholeheartedly on this could be a bore. I want to go into this with expectations, and I always try and do that and say, no, it'll probably be good. But you may remember I went into Devin Haney and that guy, Brian Norman, thinking it's probably going to be a bore, but let's be optimistic. Yeah, my optimism was kind of actually okay in the first couple of rounds, because he dropped them and I was thinking, and then it was just, false dawn. It's like when you meet a girl in a nightclub or something like that in the bar, and she comes up to you and you're chatting, it's all going good well, and you're thinking, she's a bit too pretty to be single. Oh, she's not. Brilliant. It was like that with Devin versus Brian Norman. That was what it was like. If Fury is anything like his best self, he should take care of him quite easily. Yeah, I reckon he will. He should. If he's anywhere close to his best, he should take care of Makhmudov without any real trouble. In theory, that's what he should be doing, because, him and Makhmudov, they're worlds apart in terms of skill. I mean, Makhmudov, he's coming off a win over Dave Allen. Dave Allen, is he British title level? There and thereabouts, roughly. Yeah, you could say he's probably in and around the British scene, the British title level. And by the way, people, there's about 54 in the building. If you haven't already, do please consider hitting the like and hitting the subscribe button. We're going up against some competition tonight, so I want to get this live seen. I want to get this live out to as many as you can. So even though there is only about 60 in the building, I forgot to like that and hit the thing on Matt's comment. Although we don't have that many, let's get it out there. Let's get people seeing this live. So if you could, we've got 15 likes. Let's get hitting the like button. Because this month's been a weird month, right? View-wise, it's been the same as probably most months. But like growth-wise, in terms of subs, oh my God, it's been one of the hardest months I've had on YouTube in maybe 2-3 years. Seriously. I think I've got about 300 subs this month, which I know for some people that sounds good. Considering I was normally in the 5 to 600s over the last year and a bit, really. It's been a weird month. I think it's largely because an Ade kind of hit the nail on the head. We both have primarily UK based audience, and there's just been nothing in the UK to really get your teeth into. I half agree with Matt there. There was only so many times you can get fat and cut back down. Well, Angry Guy and Matt are very much like, again, I can't say I disagree with them, really, but I do think Fury will have enough left, especially someone like a Makhmudov has proven that he's not the real contender. He hits hard, but Fury will be very hittable after such a long layoff. That's the one thing you would say, but like, if you think about it like this, Makhmudov in that Dave Allen fight was when Dave Allen really did try. He did look a bit uncomfy in there. Now, if Dave Allen's making you uncomfy, I'm sorry, but yeah, Tyson Fury, it's different gravy. That's just different gravy in there. If Dave Allen is making you uncomfy, Tyson Fury, I'll have no problems. Frank is still 100%. Frank is 100% still with Fury, but Fury was never part of his own contract because it's separate deals. Fury being on Netflix is the same deal that AJ was on Netflix. Well, I did just wonder because if you think about it like this, Frank is the promoter. So you would imagine Frank would be the main promoter, so we'd get that mention. It's just the fact that he didn't. That had me kind of thinking, huh? Worst person to go up against. Yeah, I know. But look, I love Hatman's videos. And the good thing is, right, I love Hatman's lives. Although do you know what I miss about Hatman? And these were my favorite videos. When Hatman would do, not even a live, just say like a 15, 20-minute, just in-depth video, like he's talking about, even if it was Fury, like, this is why I think he might win, this is why I think he might lose. I miss those kind of videos because it seems like we only get lives and then like kind of shorter vids. And I miss the long ones. I miss the longer ones. But I think YouTube these days, it is a bit strange. Like the algorithm is a little bit all over the place these days. And I know because people have told me that it's really pushing the short videos, and I mean the shorts. So it's a bit all over the place now. But I think Hatman's best vids are the ones where they're long. He talks for, about 10, 15 minutes. I love those ones. Frank will get his promoters free. He just won't be on the same broad promoting the card. Same with Eddie, had nothing to do. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Eddie was kind of there as the mouthpiece really for Anthony Joshua more so than anything else. Where else are we? I'm losing track in here. There we are. The Fury plan, the plans for Fury and Wardley to have fights in April and then September for the WBO crown. I still think Fury's main goal is Usyk. And you can kind of see, when you're reading what was saying, you're kind of thinking, yeah, he's really going, he wants to go down the Usyk road. He wants that trilogy fight. I don't think that he wins personally, but there you go. I think Makhmudov will knock Partridge down and Partridge will come through and stop him. But he will look terrible in there, in my opinion. Well, I'm not expecting Fury. I'm going to call him Fury because I've never addressed him in a video as Partridge. And his fans just go and lose it. Like, remember the last live I did? There was a Fury fanboy in the chat having a go because Hatman calls him Partridge and having a go with the chat. I was like, mate, we're two different people. I don't call him Partridge. Yeah, they really lose the rag over that name. It's such a funny name. I can see why. Imagine he actually beats Fury. Stranger things have happened, and you may remember. And I myself was saying it a couple of years ago when it looked like it didn't obviously happen when we thought it would. But when he was, saying, oh, I can't get a fight, and this, that, and the other, this is when he was having all that nonsense with Alexander Usyk. I was saying, all right, fight a Makhmudov, fight a Frank Sanchez, because they were both undefeated at the time and they were highly ranked. And again, Makhmudov looked a lot better then. We hadn't seen how limited he really was. Liam, what do you think of Greatest Karras? In my opinion, he looks much scarier than Whitaker. I've seen him. He's trained by Peter Fury. He was on some of those GBM shows. I got to be honest with you, mate. I've not been massively impressed. The ring walk's cool with his little girl, but I've not been massively impressed with what I've seen. Personally, that's just me. I think Whitaker is better. I think Whitaker would probably win that fight. I think Teo has a huge ceiling, can literally beat anyone, but he blows hot and cold. Absolutely. So you never know how good he's going to be. I just look at that stylistically and just think, I just can't see how Shakur loses. But as you say, he does blow hot and cold. And the times he has definitely blown cold has been against southpaws who move. So I'm sure he'll do better. But that's the problem with Lopez, is that there's times where you just think, like, what's going on? And then he goes and rises to the occasion. It's a bit like Tyson Fury in that regard. Sorry, G-Man. Nothing to be sorry for unless there's something that I missed. Moses Teofimo and Adam Olana are the future of the heavyweight division. Yeah, big up to Adam. He actually followed me on Instagram there. Big up to him as well. He makes his pro debut. I think he's only about 18, young man from Tala in the south side of Dublin. Seems a very good kid, I have to say. Seems a very nice, respectable kid, head switched on. I will be looking forward. I might even do a review of his pro debut, depending on where it is in the card, if it's high enough on it. Because Adam Olana, I've heard of him in the amateurs, and he's following the pattern of a Teofimo in a sense of he's turning pro young. He seems a decent size heavyweight. He seems to have decent ability there. I'm liking what I'm seeing, certainly in the amateurs. And yeah, he seems to definitely have his head screwed on. Now, a Teofimo does as well, but I think a Teofimo does, it's hard not to when the fame is there. So I hope Adam Olana is head screwed on as well. But I'm looking forward. He's fighting on March 14th in Dublin. And he's a dub like me. We're both dubs. So we're both from different sides of the city. I'm from north of the Liffey. He's from south. But he's from Tala. I'm from Swords. But I'll be looking forward nonetheless to seeing him. Big up to him every time. I think if he's watching, I'm sure if he followed me, he probably does watch. Adam, looking forward to seeing your pro debut. Hope he kicks some you-know-what. I wonder what arena/stadium. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. They haven't announced it yet. So I'm wondering, will it be a stadium? Will they do it somewhere in Manchester? We'll wait and see on that one. Hopefully no rematch with Shakur anytime soon. No, he hasn't left Frank. Frank was out there, screaming from the high hills that, yes, he's back. The king is back. The king. And by the way, 67 in the building. If you haven't already, hit that like button, I got 60. The last live I did, I was in the hundreds. What's going on here? That's weird. There we go. We're into the 70s. We get into the hundreds. I want to get into the hundreds. So please hit that like button if you could. Help your boy out. I like being in the hundreds for the lives. They didn't let Usyk knock out 4, but Fury knocked out Wilder. Boxing so corrupt. And that. Well, I don't know about that, but it's definitely corrupt. But in terms of that word, I've never seen anything to indicate that it is per se, but I don't like throwing words like that around unless, you can actually say it's definitely that. Tommy Fury has fight news, bear in mind, he said about a week ago. Ugh. Well, his last fight was in where? Romania against some obscure opponent. He looked awful in that fight. Jason Ferry, no idea. Oh, who wins? Who wins? Johnny Fisher, Jamie TKV. I'm sorry, Johnny, but you're not winning that fight. Listen, I've said my piece on Johnny Fisher. I like the guy. To be honest with you, if I met Johnny Fisher in a bar, and I'm not really going to bars that much these days, but if I was to, I would buy him a drink. I'd say, yeah, go on, I'll buy you a gargle. You're a cool guy. You just, boxing, you could get hurt, especially a heavyweight, and it's just not for. You'll notice, right? If there's fighters who are up and coming, right, and and even if they have a bit of a presence, like a bit of a fan base, and I'm not doing videos on them, it's because I don't really rate them that much. And when did I start doing vids on Johnny Fisher? A lot later. Pretty much, I think the first real vid I did on him was the Dave Allen fight. That kind of gives you an indication that now I do a vid on, like, say, maybe a lower down card if it was really good. That's kind of for me to talk about fighters. Look, I respect Johnny Fisher, as I've always said. He could do a lot. He could do a lot easier. Do a lot easier profession. But nah, man, he don't got it for me. Have you heard Fundora versus Thurman has happened on March 28th, and Torres Sanchez on the undercard? You know what? The Torres Sanchez fight. That would be on PBC, wouldn't it? PBC in association with Top Rank, because Torres is obviously a Top Rank fighter. Yeah, look, Thurman, just go in there, take the L and go, because that's all. Thurman's just been a disappointment, it's fair to say, for more than the last couple of years now. They didn't let Usyk finish Fury, but let Fury attempt murder on Wilder. Sad. Well, I didn't really have an issue the second time with Wilder when the stoppage was. I think that was fair. The third fight, again, like while there was that, I wouldn't have jumped in before the knockout personally. I don't even think Alan is British level. Well, he's there or thereabouts. He's there or thereabouts. Would you like to see? Yes, I would. I do rate Richardson Hitchens myself, very much so. Secret Dance Move thinks Fury is finished. So Fury is back to fighting weak opponents. Well, again, I wouldn't necessarily class Makhmudov as that weak. Is he better than, where would I put him? Maybe European level? Is that fair to say? I'd say that's fair. Jermaine Ortiz, tricky opponent for Keyshawn Davis. Yeah, he is. And Keyshawn, I'm not liking, the missing weight and stuff like that. He needs to get his head screwed on. He really does. He do. But if you ever notice, all the Furies tend to look a lot older. I think me and Huey are the same age. If not, maybe I'm a little bit younger, but in terms of months. But, man is old, old. And the problem with Huey Fury is, right, it's not just that he's old, he looks old, but he moves old. Like Huey Fury never took a beating in the ring. And he was one of the few Furies who actually kept himself in shape consistently. But now, if you see, he moves like an old man now. It's really weird. It might. Actually, that's not a bad shout, railway boxing. Actually, that's not. It might actually, because Turkey did tease that there'd be a big undercard and this, that, and the other. So okay, well, I'm going to hold you accountable to that. If it's a big undercard, if it's going to be good, let's wait and see. I will hold you accountable for that, there, Mr. Turkey. We need another WTF video with Tank Davis or Broner. They're both screw ups. Which one is the bigger screw up? That's a tricky one. They're both screw ups. I did promise an AB video of what WTF a long time ago, and I will keep that promise. I swear I absolutely will. I'd have to be AB because I promised that one before, and I will do that. The question is, which one of them is a bigger screw up? I know you didn't ask that, but I'm just looking at that, thinking that which one is a bigger screw up. That's a tough one. 5 top technical boxers you've ever seen. Usyk and Loma are up there. Floyd was very good technically. I'd probably say Usyk is the best technically. Technical boxers. Well, I give you those 3 for starters. They were easy. Technical. Rigondeaux on his offense is extremely technical. It's certainly prime Rigondeaux. Yeah, he made some defensive things you wouldn't teach someone, but Rigo was very good technically. I mean, he was razor sharp. And probably Hopkins. Hopkins, from a technical perspective, was really good. That's one of the reasons why he was able to last so long. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think we're going to see Dubois versus that guy Wardley anytime soon. Well, I'm sure they will try and do it, but let's wait and see. And by the way, 80 in the building. Come on, hit that like button, and please consider hitting the subscribe button. I'm not a million miles off. 28,700. Oh my god, I want to get there so bad. As I said, this month has been a tricky old month growth wise. I don't know what's happened on YouTube this month, but I think we've come through the worst of it. So if you could hit the old like button, if you could, wouldn't you mind, please? Oh, big up to Ben. How are you? I think it was you, mate. Last time you were saying you liked having the comments on screen. Well, I have them back on screen. There you go. I'm pretty sure it was you, mate, who said it, but it was someone who said it. I took your feedback on board. I brought the comments back on screen. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but okay, I brought the comments back on screen. There you go. Christian and Billy promoted. I don't agree with that. I thought he lost his last fight. I think they should have ordered him to rematch Lester Martinez for the vacant title personally. But do you think Wardley and Atelma not fighting, if they both continue their trajectory, is bad for boxing? It's unlikely they will fight, unfortunately, given the fact that they are both Ben Davison fighters. So it's unlikely. If one of them leaves, I'm sure they will be calling for that straight away. Be careful what you say about Johnny. Big John might say something to you. Well, he already has. He already has had a go at me. Because before Christmas, when me and Ade did Ade and G-Man, we did a review of Johnny Fisher's fight, and he took a lot of issue with what I was saying, called me a hater, in spite of the fact that I was actually praising Johnny as a good person and, someone who's trying. But Big John Fisher, he's someone who really, he is someone who just wants sycophants around him. He doesn't want anyone to come and say, oh, this is that or this is that. He's a very weird character. And if you're going to throw around the word hater, look, for me to be a hater of Johnny Fisher, in spite of the fact that I'm saying that I like the kid, I like the guy, I think he's a respectful. And actually, I was pretty much saying that Big John, should be proud of the job he did on Johnny Fisher because he's a very respectable, likable young man. For me to be a hater, I'd be saying, yeah, stick him in there. So I want to see him get knocked out. No, I don't want to see him get knocked out. I don't want to see him get knocked out. So, if me not wanting to see your son get hurt makes me a hater, well, then that's what I am. Partridge will Don't get me wrong, Turkey will stop working with any promoter match from Queensberry Top Rank, etc. by the end of 2026 and exclusively just funds Zuffa boxing. It does appear that way, doesn't it? Like he's really putting all his eggs in the Dana White basket. That's the way it's certainly for me, that's the way it seems. Arsenal is a top 10 heavyweight. I wouldn't go that far. Top Rank don't have a permanent broadcaster. No, they don't. I remember Shades of Ali. Tommy looks older than 26. Yeah, there's definitely a gene. Like, again, it's genetics, I guess, at the end of the day. There's nothing you can really do about that. If some people could live, because I've seen it. I've seen people back home. And when I say they've lived horrendously, as in, like, they're taking, the hell you doing, they're drinking every weekend, they're smoking like a chimney. And yeah, they look, would I say old for their age? Kinda. But they don't look as bad as you'd think they would, They if they said, I'm 30 or I'm 29, you'd be like, you look a little bit older, but you're not much. You don't look much older. And when I'm like, you see the life they've led, I'm amazed they look as good as they do at 29. Much less, you know what I mean. Yeah. All right, that fight right there, we can talk about that. I mean, if you don't mind, I haven't heard about that. If you don't mind, where did you hear about that, mate? Because I'd like to know. Not to say that I think it's, you're being disingenuous or anything, of course not. Well, Adelaide is, I still think Adelaide would wash Dylan White, to be honest with you. Yeah, I agree with what Mid Distribution 30 says. I think he'd wash Dylan White, to be honest with you. Ken Barlow, big up. Should be in Coronation Street right now, man. Is the fight on TNT? No, it'd be Netflix Worldwide. Netflix Worldwide. That's what I imagine. Oh, big up to Chris. He'll be in attendance on Saturday night with your Honduras flag. Hope Tio gets it done. Vamos. Catro. I'm probably butchering that. I know the Vamos. I got that right. So you can't, I'm good on that one. Right? You ain't gonna, I got the Vamos right. Vamos. We have such great talent in the sport in the US. Haney, Teo, Shakur, Ryan on his day. On his day now. Almost. It's out now. I said it. I think I said it low, but I was going to say he wasn't on it when he fought Rowley. He should have been winning that. Yes, Netflix exclusive. Thank you. Of course, Terence Crawford. Immaculate technically. In fact, I get rid of Bernard Hopkins. He's going in there instead. Immaculate technically. Terence Crawford. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant as well. Well, I rate Atelma higher because I think his ceiling is higher. Wardley, I've picked against him several times. He's proven me wrong. Credit to him. But I think that Atelma probably will be better in the long. We'll probably look back and say they were both champion and Atelma was better. In my opinion, I think that's how it'll end up looking. Zhang is super dangerous for 5-6 rounds, but not even that long, man. Probably about 4 or 5 rounds, depending on the pace that you set. I mean, against Caballel, he floored him. Yeah, but that was. He was getting chopped down even at that point. When he did floor him. Would you do a collab with Proper Boxing? Of course. I've been on his podcast, not the one he does with Barker. I've been on the main one, the Proper podcast, the one with John and Kaya. I've been on that a few times. I haven't been on it in a while, but I've been on it a few times. I think the last time I was on that was in the run-up to the Ben Eubank fight, the first fight. Should have been the only fight. But yeah, like I've always said it, he has my number. So if he ever wants me to go on and do a little bit with him, I'm always up for it. He knows that. And Proper's a great guy. Pick up to Sonny. He does have very good power, but he does have the X factor and his youth. Well, we need to, this chin is untested, as you say there. We need to wait and see that. Well, I hope it's not that Haisha guy because he's very limited. I know he's unbeaten, but he's in his 40s. Very limited fighter. He's not particularly good. I wouldn't be if he fought Hergovich. I'd be like, all right, cool, yeah, that's a perfectly legit. That's legit. Like that's fine. Who do you think could be Canelo's opponent? Yeah, I could be Pacheco, but I don't know. Most intolerant boxer: Tio, Rowley, Ben, Fury, Bacoli. Well, right now it's got to be Conor Ben. Oh, I think he loses to him. I can't see him doing very well in that fight, man. To be honest with you, personally, I can't see him lasting. He might last longer than he did against Allen because TKV is not the most aggressive fighter in the world. But yeah, Hergovich seems like likely, but but I still think it would be Chisora if he works out his problems. Well, I think Hergovich as an opponent is perfectly fine. I have no issue with that whatsoever. He's puncher's chance. The whole Partridge thing is hilarious. It absolutely is flipping hilarious. That's what I say on that. It won't happen, but imagine a universe where Wilder lands one big one and stops Usyk. Picture Fury's face watching that. Well, Fury would probably try and claim that he's the number one now because Wilder beat Usyk, who beat Tyson Fury, and I beat Wilder. So he probably wouldn't look at that and think, oh my God, he'd probably be delighted if that happens. He really would. He'd probably be absolutely on cloud nine if that happens because he can go and claim, well, see, I'm the best. It was never in doubt. Usyk got lucky both times. Look what Wilder did. Look what I did to him. Eddie knows the writing is on the wall with Turkey. He's just getting in those last few ring shows this year. He's planning ahead. You should always plan ahead. Like it was always inevitable. This was never going to be a long-term thing. He's worked with all these promoters. He has a chance to lose again. Most likely he will lose. And by the way, 90 in the building. Let's get into the hundreds. If you could, smash that like button. And if you haven't already, do please consider hitting subscribe. 38 likes. I want to get this live into the hundreds. And if you're new, do please consider hitting the subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. And I ask for much. I drink my bottle of water, which is spring water. I didn't know when I bought it was spring water. Yeah. There's a big difference from giving an opinion to being a hater. Unfortunately, in this day and age, mate, there's really... The thing is, right, you give an opinion, you're going to upset someone. Does that make you a hater? There's an opinion on everything. There's people who wouldn't like my opinion on one thing to another, but does that make me a hater? Am I saying that I hate such and such? No, of course not. Do I hate Johnny Fisher? Absolutely not. As I've said several times, I like the kid. I think he's cool. And if I saw him in a bar, even though I don't go to bars much these days, I'd buy him a drink, But I don't think he's a good boxer. That's an opinion. And I've been, I think, proven right in that fact. So if his dad can't take that, again, what does he want? Does he want sycophants the whole time who are just going to gaslight him and his son and say, oh, this isn't true? What do you want? Do you want someone who's going to tell you the sky is green when it's actually blue? And if not, you know what I mean? So, and look, Big John Sr., right? He's in his, 50s? And people are going to say, look, people say crap to me all the flipping time on here. It's a minority, a very small minority, but that is what that is. People think, this and they say that. So, all right, fine. I don't care. I really don't. I'm not going to go and, cry to my mom or, be like, oh, the boy said something mean to me or you just thought, look, it is what it is. That's one of the perks. Like, if you think about it like this, social media, I'm able to talk to all of yous. I'm able to do this it's not my full-time job. Like, it's not my only income, but I'm able to do this and get paid for it, which is amazing. But at the same time, you got to deal with idiots. And that is what that is. And Johnny Fisher Sr., I'm sure he deals with idiots who are just absolute, trolls and this, that, and the other. But then there's other people who are given an opinion, and it's not a hateful opinion. It's actually, a caring one. You got to differentiate between the two. Big John responding to people's comments who were picking Allen over Johnny, saying, screenshot it, you'll eat your words. But there, you see, like this is what I mean, mate. Like, at the end of the day, right, like, everyone has an opinion. If I think Tyson Fury beats Arslanbek Makhmudov, which I do, Does that mean I hate Makhmudov? No, I'm giving my opinion. As Hatman has often said, you have a 50-50 chance if you know nothing about boxing of picking the right winner. If you said to someone who doesn't know Tyson Fury or Makhmudov, pick a winner, and he picks Makhmudov, right? He doesn't know them from Billy to Jack. Does that mean he hates Fury? No, he just doesn't know. Now, it could be wrong, but I think Big John. Yeah, their presentation is legit, mate. Imagine the scenes. Honestly, I would love to be there to see it if it did happen. I mean, I can imagine you guys. It'd be epic. It'd be epic. Sorry, I meant to say, I swear Big John blocked people picking. Well, again, I mean, like that's the thing. Like, I mean, again, like I try my best not to block, unless someone's just being a complete, absolute twat and they're just blatantly trolling and something like that. And it's just like, I don't need that crap in my comment section. But if someone like, because I get people saying, oh, I think that out of Ade and G-Man, Ade is better. All right, that's fine. All right. Yeah, I wish you wouldn't to say it, but like, it's your opinion. Go for it. I'm not gonna block you for that. Why would I? It's your opinion. It it's weird. Johnny Fisher Sr., who, again, I've said it before, I think is just the whole Bosch gimmick, eating himself to death on Chinese. I don't find it amusing. I really don't know how, as a society, we've gone to the point where we want to see someone gorged himself, on Chinese all day, where they're clearly, like, he doesn't look healthy. And you're seeing a man, and it's not just Johnny Fisher. I've seen loads of YouTubers where, like, if YouTubers saying, oh, I've had 2 strokes, I'm overweight, and here I go to eat more takeaways. You're like, mate, seriously, the fuck, real what? And people actually critique you for saying, mate, maybe for the sake of your family, you want to maybe not get healthy, yeah, but you don't have to be Joe Sixpack, but just take care of yourself a little bit. How dare you? He's making himself happy. He's making himself bloody, immobile. Barely fit through the door. God knows what's going to happen next. Thoughts on Nick Ball, Brandon Figueroa next week? It's come by quick. I think it'll be a good fight. I'm really torn on that one. I wouldn't even be shocked if Nick Ball loses. In my opinion, I do think Haney gets disrespected heavily. Undisputed at 135, won titles at 140, 147. Opponents like Loma. I thought he lost the Loma fight, but yeah, Jojo, yeah, Linares, Garcia, Cambosis. A good resume and a great fighter. You've Eddie Hearn didn't help things when he's saying, oh, it's this, it's that. It's like, mate, you promoted him. He's a great fighter, Devin Haney. And I won't say anything else. He's a great fighter. And what I mean by that is I won't say anything else because I can't give him enough praise. There's loads of praise to give Devin Haney. He's a great fighter. Liked, mate. Appreciate that. If other people could follow suit, just, hit that like button real quick. Appreciate it. I really would. I met Proper Boxing at the Wardley weigh-in, and he interviewed me as well. There you go, man. There you go. And Proper's a great guy. Sonny's a great guy. I've gone for a drink with him a while ago now. I met him and his girlfriend. We were at the 5v5 press conference, and Sonny's cool, man. He's great. Truth be told, right, I don't think I've ever met anyone. And I don't think I've ever met anyone in like this media slash, I'm getting to know when I'm getting to know presenters and people like that now, and, people like Root and all that from Queensberry and people like that. Big up to Hirsch, doing a great job over there at Queensberry. I've never had a bad experience with anybody. Maybe that's just me. Look, I'm lucky, because I tend to be quite easygoing. I like to think anyway, I can get on with pretty much anybody. But I'm quite easygoing as a person, I'm not really, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. And more often than not, people are. So, but yeah, I've never had a bad experience, but Sonny's cool. We like Sonny, he's cool. Oh yeah, God, yeah, he's got definitely a chance. I mean, Murdazaliev hasn't fought in well over a year. Just hate the Saturday undercard, extremely short, 4 fights. Yeah, it's a weird old undercard. It could be to do with the fact it's in New York, maybe, to try and get it over with sooner, maybe, because it's in New York. It's better for me because the time zone is a little bit kinder. It's still a morning fight, but it's a little bit kinder than LA and the West Coast. How much joy would it be on your face to see Conor Benn splattered all over the canvas by Ryan Garcia to get humbled after his disrespectful actions against great sportsmen of our country? Would I smile? Would I laugh? Probably not, but I would definitely be saying, well, there you go. That's karma's a you-know-what. So look, I don't think he beats Ryan Garcia. I think that Conor Benn, when it does happen, I think, truth be told, Conor Benn would probably come off social media whenever he does. If he loses in that fashion, I think Conor Benn is a bit like Johnny Senior in that sense that he wants sycophants, and once he has to face what we've seen when he's faced adversity, he behaved like a spoiled little child. The cancellate. Oh, I was thinking, what? Yeah, that Magnificent Seven won't have helped Liam left a big hole this month. Yeah, it's been like I said, view wise, the month's been the same as always. The viewership wise, I average about 250,000 views a month, normally go more than that, but in or around that. So view wise, the month's been fine. But just growth wise, it's slowed down. I think I've only hit about 250 subs this month, maybe 300, which is not bad, right? But certainly this last week, the atonement that left a massive gap because the last week was really like snail's pace. I was thinking, am I doing something wrong here? Because it was snail's pace growth, which is never normally what happens. Never normally what happens. Normally, as I said, my channel's been growing over the last, well, since I started it, really, since its inception. It's been brilliant. I've always had solid growth, and this has been a slow month, but they happen. I think November 24 was a pretty slow month. So you have them. They happen, and it's normally when it's a quiet. Like January is normally quiet anyway. So look, better to get it out of the way, and then obviously we get into the kind of silly season, so to speak, and things will be all right. Don't get me wrong. So we're good. Greetings from America. Has Fisher a chance to chin TKV? A very slim chance, but there's always a chance. And big up to Dawn from Massachusetts. Big up to G-Man. What part of Massachusetts are you from, mate? You from Lowell? You from Boston? I can't say Massachusetts is massively on my list of states that, well, yes, it is a state. Of course it is. I was thinking there. It is a state. Can't say it's on my list. I'm more of a kind of, Florida, Tennessee, kind of that region. But I would like to even spend a day in Boston. I would. It's looking stacked. Yeah, we'll be having a field day during then. If Fisher manages to beat, well, I've no doubt Eddie Hearn would do it. No doubt. See a pound note there. From what I've heard, yes, but we've had no official announcement. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. See, me and Ade talked about this, and we were saying, well, if Fury comes back on a pay-per-view, we did it on Monday. If we comes back on a pay-per-view, well, this won't hurt it because it won't be pay-per-view. Shout out from Derby. You notice Frank Warren, aka Bricktop, not saying Turkey's name. He's saying the people from the ring and Hearn said a lot of effery going on in boxing right now. Well, again, I was only asking the question, what's up, but who knows? TKV destroys Fisher. I thought it was going to be Dave Allen, but no, apparently not. He did look very dangerous, and he took some of Clark's shots very, very well as well. There are some options, but I don't think they are haters. There are some options I don't like, but I don't think they are haters. Is that to do with Johnny Bosch, Johnny Senior? In what sense? As in, like, I think this, but that. And yeah, you're gonna have disagreements, obviously. If Chisora beats Wilder, I can't see Wilder winning. To be fair, neither can I. Should Chisora just retire or fight Usyk? Well, I would personally prefer any guy for him to retire. I think that it's long overdue, and that's a great way to go out, beating Wilder. If you fight Usyk, I can't see him winning. 6 years later? Or he has to be one of the most respected fighters past few years. Guy fights anyone. And he is respectful about it. Wish him all the best. Likewise. It's crazy. Wish him nothing but the best. It's crazy that he's able to, literally win fights that I wouldn't have normally given him a sniff. We got 100 people in the building. Boom, there you go. 100 people. Hit that like button, people, if you haven't already. And hit subscribe if you're new. I got 100. We got into the hundreds. I always have a goal. Just get into the hundreds in the live. Get into the hundreds. And I know of Hatman, and no offense, I love Hatman. He's my guy. If he wasn't flipping live right now, I'd be in the hundreds. I would have been in it long ago. God damn it. Would you ever do a collab or sponsorship with Caffeine Shampoo guys? They're massive boxing fans. I've never heard of them personally, so I don't know them. But for a sponsorship, yeah, it would depend how much it is. I mean, I wouldn't, obviously I would do a collab, but if someone was to offer me something, I'd have to see what they're offering. I mean, I'm very open to doing things for free. But like if someone came to me with a sponsorship, I'd be like, right, well, now you're talking, you have to make sense, you know, because I am giving up my time as well. I don't get why he does that, putting people's comments on post. I don't know either, because I don't do it. You know, I mean, obviously, I'm putting the comments up here because people want me to read. We're doing it live, and they're all normal comments. But I don't know. There's obviously an insecurity there. And I think I've said it before. Johnny Fisher Senior is obviously living through his son, vicariously through his son, and he obviously is someone who definitely is insecure. You know, maybe he thinks he's trying to protect Johnny, but Johnny Junior has said it before. He knows he's not the best, but he's a trier, and I respect that. So why is your dad like that? Doesn't make sense to me. Like why he's saying he knows he isn't the best, but he's going to keep trying. Respect, 100%. So why you like? I don't know. Robert Garcia is manager of BAM and seems to have a different idea as to whether BAM is re-signed to Matchroom than Eddie. Hope BAM's career doesn't get stalled. So do I. It's a good move for Eddie to get him signed in. I think he's a very, very good fighter. Well, I know he's a very, very good fighter. Jesse Bam Rodriguez. So yeah, I hope there. Well, God knows, I hope there isn't any issues. Big John is precious. Makes out he's down to earth and old school. Well, yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, right? He talks about like, and again, I don't do politics or anything like that. But living in the UK, you do pick up a few things. He talks about like, I don't like Keir Starmer and this, that, and the other. Well, you behave a lot like Keir Starmer. To be fair, you know, you try and shut down discourse any chance you get. You behave a lot like him. So you don't like him, but you definitely follow some of his practices. Yeah, he's a big guy. I think TKV beats Fisher, but hypothetically, if Johnny did win, surely Allen knocks on the door. Oh God, yeah, I would imagine so. I would imagine Eddie's knocking on the door more so than Dave Allen. If Josh Kelly wins at the weekend, will Eddie? No, Eddie will look to do boots, I reckon. They tried to do that fight years ago, and if he'd have beaten Avanesian, they probably would have done it. They already would have done it if he'd have beaten Avanesian. Yeah, it's going to be a really good fight, I think. A really, really, really good fight. Stealing Hatman, the viewer, is diabolical. I went live first, and I put the live up first. So there you go. No one's stealing nothing on here. How Ryan Garcia was treated. Yeah, that one is, I don't know. I'm like, how? How can you just, like, the man literally failed a PED test and basically admitted, yeah, we did. Oh, you talk about the undercard, it's great. For Fury? They haven't announced it yet, have they? Not that I'm aware of, anyway. Except the ZF. Oh, we're talking about Shakur Teo. I've said it before, I think it's a fine undercard. Ben don't want Kelly, he wants Garcia. Ben, stylistically, and Josh Kelly, I'd give Josh Kelly I'd probably even favor Josh Kelly over Conor Benn, to be honest with you, stylistically. Well, he has lost at 154. So when I say no one will beat him, no, he's been beaten at 154. And I think that you can't get to him, but it's going to be difficult. So he's man 6'7" at 154 pounds. Yeah, you would have got a lot of subs from that. Yeah, I know. But look, we've got a busy February, we've got a busy March, we've got a busy April. So we're getting into the busy season now. So look, you have these months where, and again, I thought this month would be better because I thought we would go from fight to fight to fight, but we just haven't. So that is what that is. So this month's been a bit of a crappy month, but as I said, like, I'm thankful the viewers have been consistently good throughout the course of the month. So that's been something that you can say, okay, that's good. Consistent viewers. The views haven't been too bad. There's not been a crazy amount to talk about. You've been kind of, and I'll admit, I've been kind of clutching at straws on certain things, which I'm probably not going to do moving forward because it's not worth it. Although some videos I did enjoy doing, but yeah, I think we're into the good phase now. We're into the good little stretch now, and yeah, I think we're through the worst of it. I think we're through the worst of it. As I said, January was just a month. It really was. Oh crap! I'm after. Where are we? No man brother. No man brother. Come to Massachusetts. Ton of history, and originally from Salomon, now residing in the country in northwestern Mass. Northwestern. So are you near? You'd be near Pennsylvania, Yes, you'd be near Pennsylvania. Then I can see it on the map here in my head. So you'd be near Pennsylvania. Now, Pennsylvania is a state I wouldn't mind seeing. Depending on where, like Pennsylvania, maybe Philadelphia. I would like to see Philly. I'm not gonna lie, I would like to see Philly. That'd be nice. What's going on with Usyk? Oh God, man. Yes, he absolutely needs to sort it out. It's crazy. It's flipping crazy. Someone asked me there, what's your body count? And someone also said, I think he said, what's it compared to Ade? Someone asked Ade that as well. Like, why? Wow. Okay. Lots of great food and agriculture around Boston. Yeah, that part of America, they're known for their lobster rolls, like Maine and New Hampshire and places like that. I think Vermont is more, I don't think it's really known for, Vermont's not really known for anything. It's not really a state you'd want to visit, to be honest with you. It's not on my list to go and visit Vermont, to be honest with you. I got a feeling some of those comments will come back to John. Let's not stir it up and get nasty. I have not said one nasty thing, though. That's the thing. I've not said one nasty thing. I've been nothing but, as I said, respectful of it. Hearn doesn't want Ben at 154. And I wouldn't want Ben at 154 because those guys are flipping massive. Like, they are way bigger than Conor Ben. Like, I mean, like, way bigger. So, yeah, I wouldn't want Conor Ben fighting at 154 if he wants to fulfill any real potential. Kelly Backram prediction. Backram to win. Probably stop Josh Kelly, but we'll wait and see. Yes, we will wait and see. What do you think of a Miller-Atelma fight? Yeah, well, geez, that would really be interesting because Miller would pose certain problems that Atelma's never had to face, and he would never have fought anyone. Like, no one like Jarrell Miller. That would actually get him out of his stride. That'd be an interesting fight. To be honest with you, I'd really enjoy that. I think it depends. I think of the Departed when I think of Boston. I don't. I think of like the American Revolution and stuff like that when I think of Boston. That's what I think of. And I'd really love to. I probably would love to go Boston for a day or two. I don't know if I'd like to go there like and stay any longer than a day or so. Boston, New York, places they wouldn't really be me. I actually border Vermont. Oh, so I'm thinking the other way because yeah, what am I thinking? Yeah, because Pennsylvania is that way. I actually border Vermont and New Hampshire. I'm from Salomon originally. Which city everyone knows that's agriculture. Vermont is beautiful and has the best cheese and maple syrup. Yeah, it's basically like mini Canada, Vermont. It's a very liberal place. It's very liberal out there. Like, I think it's proper. Like, that's solid blue, isn't it, Vermont? Whereas like Boston and Massachusetts is solid blue. Whereas like New Hampshire, I think, is more purple, which is kind of like a swing state. So yeah, Vermont. I don't know. Like, I don't like the cold, and I'm not a big. I can honestly say I've tried maple syrup, and I've tried maple syrup that's come to Europe, so it's probably watered down to hell. I don't like it at all. So God knows what it's like up there. I'd say it'd blow your head clean off. In the future, maybe. It may be that he has to. Maybe that he actually has to. Well, you got robbed of the Azim question. All right. I missed the Azim question. Where's the Azim question? Oh. Could it be that Adam Azim is on the undercard with that dodgy injury? Possibly. It is very dubious, isn't it? The fact that it just out of the blue, they both pull out injured and here we go. And listen, it's not the first time we've seen these cards kind of chopped and changed with injuries, quote unquote. It's Ben Shalom at the end of the day. Would you really trust Ben Shalom to tell you the honest truth? I wouldn't trust any promoter, be it Frank, Eddie, Ben, none of them. Departed is a good movie. I've never seen it. I can honestly say I've never seen Departed. Big up the Counterpunch every time as well. Callum Walsh, George Lennart. That's a good fight, actually. George Lennart really, like, I mean, he flipping impressed the you know what out of me against Kieran Conway because Conway was on a good run of form. Callum Walsh, I don't know. Maybe slightly favor Callum Walsh, maybe. Big up Liam for actually going back to the question. Big up your content and hopefully 30k soon. I reckon it will be soon. Hopefully, I think it's never gonna be this month. Thank God January's over. It's been a flipping just off topic. It's been a flipping long ass month. This month felt like it's just gone on forever. Like I got back to London, what, this day 3 weeks ago? It feels like I've been back in London for flipping ever. Like it genuinely feels like I've been in London for a year this month. That's how long this flipping month has been. I can't remember a January like it. It's been awful. And it's cold. Well, it's not cold now, but it's been cold as hell this month. Moved to BBC, most of his fights have been lost. And that's ironic because the BBC have actually done a very good job from the production standpoint. I'm really impressed. Backgram Kelly prediction. Oh yeah, I've already said, yeah, Backgram the win by a stoppage. Day or two in Boston is plenty. Vermont has plenty of gun-toting conservatives. All of New England is blue. Yeah, it would be. New England will be primarily blue. I just know from people kind of who've been to it, they say New Hampshire is probably a little bit more on the conservative side than the rest of New England. But yeah, New England will be solid Democrat. And then you kind of go like south and kind of the Midlands of America, and that's solid red. Like, you go like, I'm trying to think of a red state. Actually, Tennessee would be a red state, which is ironic, but you go to like, I'm trying to think of a red state. I can't think of any, but you know what I mean? Like Kansas. Hey, y'all, it's Kansas. I'm stroking my gun. And I don't mean my you-know-what. I mean my baby. My 44. Yeah, that's a red state if ever I saw one. January flew by. No, well, I've been in London that long now. I mean, how long have I been in London? October 24, so I'm going on what? 15 months? I've been in London long enough. If I didn't like it, I would have gone by now. Although saying that, like, I don't hate London. It's not where I'm going to grow old. Definitely not where I'm going to grow old. Hell no. I will not be growing old in this city. No way. Hell no. I won't be having kids in this city either. Hell no. No way. But it's not terrible. It's not awful. To boxing though, G-Man, the heavyweight scene in America is bad. Everyone plays football and basketball. They still get paid well. And you don't have to be world champion. But I don't know if you listened to the show I did with Ade. We did a Q&A last week. And I forget who it was who asked it, but they asked a brilliant question about the American heavyweight scene. I agree with what you're saying there. It's dead. And my answer was, what about the Vermonts, the New Hampshires, the Massachusetts, the North and South Dakotas, the Minnesotas? What about them? Surely there's grassroots boxers there, heavyweights, who are really good, but you don't go to South Dakota and think I'm going to find a heavyweight here. You don't go to Vermont or Massachusetts, in your case, and say there's a really good heavyweight here. You think of New York, you think Florida, you think Vegas, you think Texas. You don't really think of those smaller states. America is so big. It's 50 countries, essentially. Surely there's some boxer that we don't know about who's just waiting to come up. Surely there's someone, they're lost somewhere there in those kind of more obscure states where you don't really think about boxing. You know? Teo, as you all really know, has no chance. I don't think he got no chance, but very little, very small chance. Kenny Sr. explores what's next for Dubois. Well, I reckon it's going to be Zhilei Zhang. My man wanted to go back to Don Charles. I still can't believe it. But ayo. How would you describe your politics? Well, I try and not go down that road, to be honest with you. I would consider myself apolitical. I don't vote. I don't follow a particular party. I don't subscribe to the left. Certainly not. I don't go right either. You probably class me as a centralist, but I don't do politics because, like, there's none of them that I would really, like, there's no politician that you'd look at and say, all right, I know he's going to do what he promised. You know, you got Farage over here in the UK, he's saying all these things. He's not going to follow through with any of it. Stammer is just awful. Awful. And then you go in the States. I mean, you really were spoiled for choice there. You had Sleepy Joe, and then you had, Kamala. Oh, yeah, all right. And then you have Trump. It's not exactly, what would you rather? It's a real choice, a real pick 'em choice there. So yeah, like that's just the way I am. I don't go down that road, to be honest with you. I just kind of, for me, I'm always like, as long as I don't want things affecting me, I try and avoid that. I try and just live it. I don't let politics. You need to. No, I don't need to do anything. I do things the way I see fit, above the law, of course, but I do it the way I see fit. That's my way. Did you see my comment about George Liddard? Were you asking me about George? Oh, George Liddard versus Aaron McKenna. That one right there, McKenna's good, but he's not. He's been painfully in. He's not fought since the Liam Smith fight, hasn't he? Not, which is a bit weird. Why hasn't he fought since? That's a bit weird, actually. I'm surprised he hasn't, because it was a good performance against Liam Smith, very good. But it was a Liam Smith who was definitely seeing better days. I think that's fair to say. He is definitely seeing better days. So where are we now? We've just gone over the hour mark. I will ask one last time, if you could, people, to just hit that, like button. Gained a subscriber, by the way. I've gained about 10 today, which is more than I gained in the last week. So there you go. Thank you all for locking in. I'm going to call it here. And Michael Hunter is completely a waste of talent. Absolutely, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And do I reckon Vidal could pick up a world title by the end of his career? Possibly. He's improved. Picking a political party feels like pickle a terminal that these days. Literally. So what do you want? You look at America and you're thinking, Trump is what? Chlamydia? It's not ideal, but it's not the worst. The other two are syphilis and gonorrhea. Simple as. You don't want them. It's as simple as that. Big up to everyone who locked in. Thanks again to Matt. I don't know if I can scroll up, because he gave a couple of super chats. So big up to him. Big up to Lucas. Big up to Annie Guy. Big up to Railway Boxing Fan. Big up to everyone who joined in. We did good. We went up against Hatmass. We went up against the heavy hitter. But we done well. We got into the hundreds. Got some good views. I was happy. Getting some subs. All good. Happy out. So I will chat to you probably tomorrow. In fact, definitely tomorrow, in terms of a video. And yeah, next live will probably be Saturday night. Actually, Sunday morning. We will be doing a watch along. TV will be going. We'll be doing a watch along. We'll be having a good time. We're going to enjoy it. So yeah, enjoy that, people. Have a great evening. Enjoy the football. I'll be watching the football now. If you're football inclined, I'll be enjoying it as well. So have a great one, and I will chat to you soon. End stream. It's one of the good things. You can end it from here.